Hey, coach. Welcome. Listen, if you are receiving this training, that's because you are now officially a part of my exclusive community. So, listen, I want to go ahead and share with you really quickly my 4-step formula on how to craft and create your power statement so that you're able to enroll your 4-figure clients. You ready for it? So make sure you have your pen and paper. Listen, I want to make sure that you are taking the time to sit down and really answer some of the questions that we're going to review over the next couple minutes or so. Okay, so make sure you have your pen and paper. Make sure you are taking the time to really dissect what we're going to talk about. Okay, so let's talk about the power of a power statement. So if you haven't heard me say it 100 times before, know that your titling and your power statement is one of the first forms of niche marketing for your business. So whether or not you're creating content, whether or not you're posting content, you're doing audio or video recording, whatever it is that you're doing, your power statement should do these top 4 things so that you are sure to speak directly to your ideal client and you are sure to make the 4-figure enrollment. Okay. So when we talk about the power statement, it is one of those first forms of marketing. It is that 30-second or less statement that you want to have crafted so that it's simple, it's specific, and that it's clear. Okay. It's simple, it's specific, and it's clear. So let's go ahead and talk about titling really quickly. Now, here's the thing. I know that a lot of you like to layer your titling, right? You like to call yourself a personal empowerment strategist. You like to call yourself a life empowerment wealth coach. You want to call yourself a empowerment life coach. These are all different ways that you are titling yourself, and you're trying to stick a fork in how to make yourself known in the industry. I get it. But here's something that I want you to consider. Let's look at your titling from a consumer side. When the consumer sits down and they're scrolling, surfing through the internet, whatever it is that they're doing, and they come across you, are they immediately connecting to your title? Are they immediately connecting to what you say you do and who you say you are? Or are they asking questions like, what is that? I don't even know what that is. And they're scrolling past it because they don't relate. When we talk about titling, I want to share with you why it's really important for you to try your best to stick to one word, which is the adjective that describes you as the coach, right? You want that one word, that adjective that describes you as a coach. That adjective should not only describe you as a coach, but it should speak directly to the problem that you're called to solve in your coaching business, right? For your ideal client. So let's use maybe a mindset coach, a relationship coach, a communication coach, a self-care coach. These are all adjectives that describe them as the coach, and it also speaks directly to the problem they're going to solve for their ideal client. Right? So keep this in mind. When you are titling yourself, you want to make sure that even the title is simple and specific. It's not something that people have to wonder what you're talking about. And when you start layering it, what it does is it causes a confusion to the brain. And the moment that the consumer is confused, they ignore. Okay. When the consumer is confused, they completely ignore it. They'll omit it. They're like, never mind, because they don't want to take the time to process if you're talking to them or not. So when you're creating your titling, you want to create a title, and create a title. Your titling falls into your niche, right? Your titling falls into your niche. When we talk about the niche, we're talking about what problem am I called to solve? What's the specific problem I'm called to solve in the life of my ideal client? This is where the niche marketing comes in. Not only are you identifying the specific problem, but you're also identifying the specific person, right? The unique ideal client. Who am I talking to? When you're creating that title, you want that title to not only speak to that specific problem, but you want that title to speak to the specific person, right? And so when you start layering your title, it becomes confusing, it becomes overwhelming, and your audience will abort the mission. We don't want them to abort the mission. We want them to really want to know what more we have to offer. So in your titling, whatever type of coach you are, you want to make sure that that adjective, it's one word, it's a one word adjective that describes who you are as a coach, but it also speaks directly to the problem that you're called to solve for your ideal client. Make sense? Cool. So that's step one. That's step one, making sure that your titling is tight. Here is step two. Who do you serve? Right now, this is important with language because you want to make sure that you're speaking directly to the ideal client, and you want to make sure that you're speaking to the client that is ready to invest in the solution that you have to their problem. So if you're talking to a woman, what type of woman, right? Here goes that adjective again. Now, we don't want to make the adjective, we don't want to layer it because that can be overwhelming as well. Listen, I've done it, but we don't want to overwhelm that adjective. We're talking about a woman. We're talking about children. We're talking about men. We're talking about families. Who are we talking about? And then if you want to add an adjective to describe the type of woman that you're talking to or talking about, or male, or whoever your ideal client is, then you can by all means attach that adjective. Now, understand that adjective supports that ideal client because it helps your ideal client know that you're speaking to them. For instance, I speak to professional female, right? Professional is talking to a certain type of woman, right? And so that's what you want to consider. Now, you don't have to use an adjective to describe the woman, but it does help you narrow in the niche, right? And so here's something that I want to help you eliminate before you even allow your thoughts to take you there. Us narrowing your niche does not limit your opportunity, right? It does not limit your reach. What it does is it magnifies your message. And that's what we want to do so that we're enrolling those 4-figure clients into your program. You want to magnify the message. How do I magnify the message? I show up, I'm specific, I'm simple, and I'm clear, right? So you're titling. Then you have who do you serve? Now, of course, we want to take the moment and break down who you serve, making sure that the unique ideal client is clear, making sure that you understand her type of language, how to communicate with her, the behaviors that are the result to the problem that you're called to solve. Like, there's a lot of different moving pieces in getting clarity in your unique ideal client. But what I want you to know is that in this power statement, as we're crafting it, while those different elements are extremely important for the messaging piece, we don't need it for the power statement, right? So we're not putting their age in our power statement. We're not putting where they work, their hobbies, their demographics, none of those things. We're simply describing whether or not it's a single woman, a married woman, and I'm only using women because I work with women. What type of person, that adjective that describes the type of person that you're called to serve. Does that make sense? So take a moment and think that through. Okay, what type of woman or what type of client, again, whether or not that's male, female, children, teenagers, whatever client you're called to serve, if you want to add the adjective, this is why you should. If you don't add the adjective, it's okay. Again, adding the adjective allows you to narrow your niche a little more, which is a good thing, because if you're creating a program, if you're a mindset coach and you're creating a program for single women, guess who you're going to attract? Single women, right? If you're saying single women with children, again, now we're narrowing that niche, but we're being specific on who we're called to serve. Make sense? Cool. Step number 3, we've gone over who you are, who you serve. Now you want to identify, what do I serve? What do I do? What am I offering? What am I providing these people? Now, this is not to go into a deep detail on your programming and how you're going to help them through it. You want to pick 1 or 2 points, key points of what you do. You help eliminate, you help solve, you help remove, you help transform. How do you help the client? Right? Do you help them transition? Do you help them change? Do you help them shift? What do you help them do? Right? You help them shift what? Now, you do want to be specific. Don't be vague. I help them shift their mindset so that they can create a better life. Like, that's super vague. I help them eliminate limited thinking so that they can earn their desired income in life, right? We want to be specific. So when you're thinking about that step 3, where you're identifying how or what do I do? What do I do for the client? You want to identify 1 or 2 points. Then that final point is, how do I do it? Right? How do I help them? I help my clients eliminate their limited mindset. And how do I help them through breaking free from traumatic experience so that they can, right? That's so that they can, or through what are the results at the end of that statement, right? So we have our titling, what are you calling yourself? What type of coach are you? What type of coach did God call you to be? That's really the question, right? When I was called a vision coach, it was not because I chose this, not at all. I'm a vision coach because this is the exact thing that God has called for me to be, right? Who do you serve? We serve professional female startup coaches, right? So we've given a clear, distinct of who we're talking to. Professional female startup coaches, right? And then what do we help them do? We help them show up and be the expert in their niche. How? By building a 6-figure coaching business, right? By building a 6-figure coaching business. Now, that how and those results work interchangeably. We're going to work through it. We're going to make sure we're ironing it out. I don't want you to be confused, but I do want you to be clear, right? So when you're going through how I help them, right? The who I am, who I serve, how do I serve them, right? How do I serve? And I'm sorry, what do you serve? And then how do you serve them? You want to make sure that's clear. What do you serve? What do you give them? And then how do you give it to them? And this is not the process. We're not going to, you give it to them through your 30-day program. You give it to them by the result, right? I give it to them by helping them reach that promotion in their life, in their job. Remember we talked about, so let's go ahead and pull one together really quickly as an example. So you are a mindset coach, right? You're a mindset coach. You are serving single women, and you're eliminating their limited beliefs. And so that, let me say, I help single women eliminate limited thinking and create generational wealth so that they can earn multiple 6 figures in their businesses, right? So you're breaking it down step by step so that they know why am I coming to you? What's my problem? How are you going to help me? And then the results that you're going to help me bring, right? So in this 4-step formula, now you're able to sit down, you're able to craft a power statement that embodies these different areas. Now, we want to make sure that it is not over 20 words though. So this is the crafting portion that comes into place. We want to keep it as simple as we possibly can. So in 30 seconds or less, 20 words or less, we're going to work through it. Now, if you don't hit that 20 words or less, that's okay. That's why we're doing this exercise. That's why we're doing this activity. I want you to start getting your mind going on how you're going to craft this power statement. Cool. So when you share your power statement, when we're critiquing your power statement, you at least have something that we can start working through. Make sense? Alrighty, listen, I'm so glad that I was able to share this training with you. Make sure you take a moment and sit down and write through it. Make sure you're sitting down and you're writing through it. For those of you, if you're a part of the Chase Great community, make sure you head over to our exclusive community and go live so that we can start critiquing it now. For those of you who are checking this exclusive training out, listen, make sure you're sitting down, you're writing it through, and I look forward to working with you, and I can't wait to see you inside of the community. Have a fantastic day and be blessed.